sometimes I still
play guitar.
put the fingers on the strings. Yeah. Tonight's special guests, incredible to have them here. They have overcome all obstacles to be here to provide you with entertainment here, live on TV. The one and only Barry Mauger.
Thank you.
Middle East Cafe.
I'm here to be here.
Middle East Cafe patron and also ex-employee.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
maybe
I
we'll
worked
get
there,
some
too.
stories. We'll hear some stories. I'd love to hear some.
I got some stories.
Yeah, some nitty-gritty stories. Make sure you tell it in the mic. and on the far side over there,
Hi, Just Bill here.
another Boston
Going bald
big
here.
name in Boston, justbill.net. Also the originator and the original fornicator of the rockin' in Boston.
Rockin' in Boston.
Rockin' in Boston. We put it together back in January with a lot of projects. It took us a while to put this whole thing together. And it takes a lot of work to keep it going. Every week I'm on it. I've actually built this thing to actually decide. With all the projects I've been over the last 20 years, I realized that what happens when you start a project, you don't think about like how life takes over, your job. I work for the movie industry. I build movie sets for a living.
You're a carpenter.
I'm a carpenter. I end up working 10, 12-hour days at times. You know what I mean? Well, so I designed this thing so we can actually continue this going while I'm working serious hours. And this past week, I have chronic sinus issues. We don't need to get into that, but it's actually put me under the weather for the last 3 days. So we've designed this to the fact that we can continue updating and continue giving Rockin' in Boston as life takes over. We continue, so the problem I found is like, it's just like unregular radio. Unregular basically was taken down because they didn't have no sponsors. I look at all these entities that helped out the music scene.
BCN.
And a lot of things that kill these entities that help out the music scene are two things. Life takes over. You can't update the stuff. You can't get to it. And like EMF radio, it was required sponsors to keep it going. And once the sponsors back out, the project dies. So I thought about that a lot before we actually had named Rockin' in Boston. It was originally going to be the Boston music scene.
Yeah, it was some horrible idea.
Well... Thanks for throwing my ideas hollow, bro. But basically, when you put a whole thing together, you put a name on it.
These guys
I got him to
Here's the
think
first
about
thing we
it
got.
more.
No, well, the thing is, we're open for that. So what this project does is we're out there every week and we're shooting live videos of bands in Boston. We're showing that Boston is actually rocking.
You're one of the hottest working.
Is rocking. A lot of people sit there on social media. They're talking about how the Boston music scene is dying, how we're losing all these clubs and stuff. I see it at a different view because of the fact that there is a lifespan for rock clubs. The fact that TT the Bears lasted from 74 to 2012. That's a really long time for a venue to last.
Now it still exists, but it's just called Sonya.
It's Sonya's. But my point is that
Sonya's is amazing, by the way.
It's so much better than TT's. But I miss TT's. They're one of my favorite clubs.
Yeah.
But clubs all have, just like bands, have a lifespan. You know what I mean? You're not going to go see the Beatles in 2020. It ain't going to happen because two of them died. But so I also what I've experienced over the last year is every single time I go out there, the bands are since COVID-19 have been putting their A games on stage. The music's fantastic. There's a lot of thought put into the stage presence, and I walk out of there 4 bands in a row, realize wow, this is like pre-2020 pre-pandemic situation here. For the last year, we've been seeing just outstanding
The game has
shows.
been raised. People
The
have
game
had time
has
to
been
think about
raised.
it.
And what has not been seen is the people aren't going out to shows. They're complaining like this whole thing is dying. No, it's not. What we're here to show you that is we need you to come out to see these shows. You don't need to spend $5,000 to see Taylor Swift.
Guns N' Roses, yeah.
I mean, I was just looking at Dave Chappelle tickets, which is not that bad.
Yeah.
$300.
And I love
At the
Chappelle,
Wilbur?
but
At the Wilbur?
I think it's
these
I would
shows
love to
are
see it. I think I
cookie
might go see him in October. But my point is, Dave Chappelle's $300, but your band's $20.
Yeah.
$20, you go out there.
Or less.
And actually indulge in rock and roll.
I mean, if you plan on
Indulge
spending
in the
thousands of
Boston
dollars to
music
see
scene.
one show, you can spend $50 and get the same exact, And the thing is about seeing these live musics and the local bands are not as well known, is they're really putting a game on stage. U2 does not need to put the A game on stage, but they have the money, the ability to do all this stuff. Well, these local bands were, before YouTube was popular, they had to do the same thing way back, in the 70s, with nothing. And that's what we're here promoting is bands putting everything together with nothing, and say you get the same entertainment. You don't get all the CGI stuff, but sometimes you do. Some of these bands really go out, But it's like over the last year, I've like countless, one show after the next. It's been fantastic.
You cover the best of bands too. Hammered Saint is one of my faves. Linnea's Garden.
Yeah.
Gene Dante and the Future Starlets. Any Ad Frank shows.
Yeah.
This
And
is
don't
the tip
forget
of
the
the
hardcore bands.
Just tip of the
Sam
iceberg.
Blackchurch and so on. We're not just stuck to one rock and roll genre.
And we have the newer bands like Trash Rabbit. They're all like
Yes,
right out of high
Trash
school.
Rabbit
It's really
was
interesting.
amazing.
Here I might get my 50s
Amazing.
talking to band. There's like
Ooh. There's a
and
hot tip
we
for
need
you.
these. We also here's another thing. Rock in Boston itself needs to wrap themselves around the new blood in our system.
Yeah.
Like Trash
Take
Rabbit.
it in. Take it in.
It's a younger group that don't understand the older groups, and we all need to game together because of the fact that we're all pointing out.
And they don't have those radio stations that we used to have.
Yeah, WFNX is no longer.
So we are
in
here
existence.
to fill that void.
That's outside, by the way.
Yes,
Yeah.
I call those folks
the Middle East.
Those are the lonely fans. Thank you. But we'll get to the. Sorry, that's the close-up angle. Hey, what's up? So
Hi,
again,
I'm
we got
Just Bill.
Just Bill in the
I'm
house.
losing my hair.
Barry in the
It's getting
house.
worse
Barry.
here.
Ex Middle East employee. He's going to tell us stories about the Middle East Cafe that you never heard before. But first, I want to make a quick announcement. We know you got a lot of things you can watch out there. You got a million different varieties of different channels you could be viewing and different formats, different media, different consumption, whether it's the NFL or it's the hockey or baseball or who knows. I mean, I just want to thank you on behalf of the Store Drive Nighthawk Show for you tuning in to this original content. This is content you're not going to get nowhere else, okay? You're not going to get, nobody else is going to bring this content. This is exclusive, so that's why it's on the edge. It's kind of it's unscripted, unrehearsed, and yet so vital to the scene to provide you with something that you hadn't seen before. Maybe we'll have to have some jugglers or some pretty girls here.
Well, we do have jugglers out
Walters.
here in the arts and entertainment world. I mean, tonight we're going to, after we leave here, we're going to New Alliance to have their opening of their art show.
Yes.
Which New Alliance is one of my favorite. Who's another
Yes.
of my favorite entities in Boston. They opened up, believe around 2019. And I helped out
The
as
new
a carpenter. I
space.
built some walls and installed some
shit.
doors.
No shit, nice.
So I'm really involved in helping these. Helping these.
New Alliance as a studio, though, has been around since like the 90s and stuff.
Yeah,
they,
this is
they were
the
near
third
Fenway.
version.
Yeah, they were
They
in Fenway.
actually talking to Alvin Long. He says basically this is the better version of all three of them.
It's a nice.
I mean, I really enjoyed the EMF studio that was right down the street from the Mass Ave here in Central Square. So we hang out there for a little bit, in the afternoon, and then head over here to have a great show in Middle East, TT DeBerry, Sonia's, wherever you want to go. It was really, really fun time. It was really sad the fact that they had to leave out there because obviously a guy comes in, spends $4.5 million, buys out the building, and all these artists are out of a space.
Yeah.
Well, luckily enough, they put their stuff together, and now Union Square is actually one of my favorite places in the Boston area, on Union Square in Somerville. And they got a really great location in Union Square. And every 6 months or 4 months, they put together an art show. They have two bands playing tonight. Obviously, I don't know the bands, which is actually one of my funniest things
Paper
to do
Tigers.
is one of my funny things to do is
Paper Tigers, I think, is one of them.
not just to go see the bands I'm looking for to cover. It is actually the bands I discover. And he's switching on cameras here, right?
Well,
left and right.
I just trying to
The
make sure.
discovering of bands
think
every
I just
single
saw a
week is
Puritan
one of
walk
the favorite
by.
things to do the last 20 years.
If you feel like you want to see if you can exit out of this and maybe find something.
We're doing technical stuff
If you
here
feel
as
like
we're on air.
Because that won't be shown until you maybe. It's a matter of kind of.
All right, I had 3 beers before I came here, so. This
Well, you
isn't
should be
making any
perfect for this
sense.
thing. Yeah. If you feel like it.
No,
I'm just. What I'd like to do is.
Just ignore the puke on the screen. You realize that fact that
That's not mine, by the way.
it's punk rock here.
Do they let
Let me
people?
scratch it off.
Is Sun Ra here? Can we smoke a joint? Come on, Heinz, make this happen.
It is legal now.
Joshua, come on.
It was actually
not even allowed to
funner when it wasn't legal.
We're not even allowed to eat in here, actually.
Oh, God.
It was the Freedom Rally was funner. I think isn't the Freedom Rally this weekend?
Oh,
I don't even remember.
This is what happens
I went
when it
to the
becomes
first
legal.
one.
Stick a
You
gun?
lost track
Stick a
of
gun?
time
Yeah.
when
You
the
seeing my breath
Freedom
stain?
Rally shows
no,
up.
no,
It's okay, man. I'm okay with honesty.
no. It's a good pick me up.
I'm good.
Some of us are
have to
recovering
try.
from
What'd you put
cigarettes.
in that gum?
Some of us are not smoking cigarettes no
Oh,
more.
yeah. Oh, okay, I got it.
So let's discuss like what is Rockin' in Boston.
Please.
Rockin' in Boston is a channel online. It's basically a website, and we've designed it so it looks like MTV for Boston. And what happens is we contact bands, they contact us, they send us their videos, and we have videos streamed for 24 hours a day. Now, we don't update like it's sitting here behind we're like a DJ, spinning records. It's not like that. We basically have to come up with like 24 videos for our playlists, and we post it online. And these are so new now. The attention span's like 10 seconds, right?
Yeah.
What I've noticed over the last 3 months is the fact that people don't actually watch the whole thing, which is fine. I knew that was going to happen. But what is nice is the fact that we repost the same playlist every single, like twice a day. And what happens is on your phone, you have a new video coming up. And you sit there and watch the whole thing for like 120 minutes to 2 hours, or just watch that video. The downside is on Facebook, they don't like us because of the fact that there was no way to make money off us, because of the fact that you don't even need to click on us. You just scrolling down and say there's a video, you start watching. Video, you move on to you do something else, move on. You don't click on it. We don't see the click. And Facebook doesn't know how to make money out of it. So they put a lot of restrictions on us.
Yeah.
But at the same time...
They say not authorized. The sound is
Well,
copyrighted,
no, it's-
right? Those bastards.
The same time
they
is
got
when
boxed
they
going through the
limit us
finals.
for a time. At first, they let us play it the whole week. Then they started cutting us down. So we're down to like 8 hours we can stream in a row. Differences for for Twitch, is once we post it, it's up indefinitely. There was no shutting down. Facebook basically shuts us down, so we have to turn around and turn it back on. The nice thing about that is it refreshes. So if we only refresh like on a Sunday, come Thursday, you're not going to see our video pop up. We're refreshing twice a day. And that actually turns out to be a plus. I thought it was a negative.
I'd like to say something. Mark Zuckerberg, I doubt you're listening. But if you are, I used to feed you at Harvard. You fucking owe me.
Nice.
No, but the negativity of what they're doing to us actually
Mentioning
I got
it
a
helps
Harvard
us
tie
out.
from you
It
guys.
We wanna thank the
helps
folks that
us
work
out.
at Harvard.
The fact that we had to repost twice a day basically keeps us in the loop on everybody. Just like anything, it's like if you're using your own social media, if you only post it on Monday, by Friday no one knows what you're talking about because everyone else has posted. So that's a plus thing. But basically, most of it is like the website itself is basically bands. It looks a lot like MTV. I'm really enjoying putting it. It's a lot of work to put these
I'm sure.
plays together.
Yeah.
And I've
And
also learned I can't do them every week because it's a lot of work.
You're still taking submissions.
Well, we're taking submissions, but I'm also over the last 3 weeks.
Local bands.
I've actually
Free airplay.
I've actually up my game of actually going out there.
Send us your videos.
Yeah, send us a video.
real.
rockintheboston@gmail.com.
And spell it out. Spell it out. for everybody.
ROCKNINBOSTON.com.
ROCKNIN Boston.com.
There you go.
And like if they send a video to your channel, you you want to give promotions to local bands. that
Yeah,
make
basically
their
that's
own
what we do.
videos.
And we talk about
Please,
it.
send
and
them away,
We
send 'em.
basically we look like MTV when we're up there. But again, it's not updated 24/7. It is on 24/7. But to do that, we need a nice little some income. And we designed this project so life can take over, so I can actually have a job.
Again, you're doing this out of your own heart.
Yeah,
There's
but life can
there's
take
no
over.
funding.
But we don't have the
That, but
funds
we
to
also-
actually hire people to.
We
take
also
care of
get
lots
to
of
go
stuff.
to these shows, and we love them. Mind you, we're picky slightly about who we see because there's certain bands that we love to see, and we might say, well, we'll catch you next time because, you know, whoever's playing. But that doesn't mean we're not going to hit the next show.
Yeah, there's enough bands out there that this music scene is not dead. It's actually
not at
really
all.
alive.
No, it's coming
And
back.
there's
the
a
fact
lot of
that it's
amazing
already
bands out
here
there.
is the fact that there is no support. The weekend we opened up, they had Boston Calling and Robbie Roadsteamer. Actually,
Robbie,
it was
yeah.
Rob Patilla.
Rob's a man.
He had the idea of going down and interviewing people going to the show.
Yeah.
Now, 15 years ago, we had FNX, AAF, and BCN, just starters, and the Phoenix. They were down there with the microphones and getting information stories left and right about what's going on. Well, we went out there our first weekend we were on air, right? We were the only ones there.
Yeah.
Now, there were DJs, great DJs that I know, good people. They were in the show, but they're posting with their phones like, here I am. It's like, yeah, that's not what you guys were doing 15 years ago. You were actually in the tour van with a microphone in the face. You know, there was none of that going on. And there we are, the only ones outside, interviewing people coming in. I had such a great time doing this.
Yeah.
And that's what's missing. There is no support. So we have such a great music scene. It's still a great music scene. There's still plenty of clubs like Faces
Malden.
in Malden. I mean, we have Square
Can
Root.
we give a shout out to Kind?
There's
Daryl Shepard and Kind.
Yes, definitely
Okay,
Daryl Shepard.
okay.
We also
The
have
Black Wolf Goat. Come on. We love that kid.
there is plenty of venues
Tim
to work with.
Cats. You know.
There's plenty of venues to work with. It's not we don't no longer have, but that's how it is. You have to roll the punches. This place is closed down. Yeah, we celebrate the fact that they're open, but we move on and continue because the fact that the music scene is out there, but there is no support, and that's the biggest problem we have in our current scene. There is no support.
Yeah.
I mean, when AAF went down,
It's
when
a DIY
WBCN went from like 260 tunes on the playlist to 50.
Isn't it country now too?
Well, it's no longer BCN, but
who
that's
listens
what
to
killed
Do people
BCN.
listen to radio
Yeah.
anymore?
They
I mean,
went-
if I
they-
do, it's
They
serious
went from like
XM.
250 songs on the playlist a
podcasts.
week to 50, and 40 of those were handpicked by LA, executives. So from that point on, BCN was no longer Boston. It was basically, corporate telling you what you should listen to.
Yeah.
And here's the thing that
Don't
sucks.
sell out.
Here's the thing that sucks about radio all around the country. All the stations sound exactly the same. And why is that? Because the fact that 3 companies own everything now.
Yeah.
Back in the day, BCN was itself.
We still got
B-
WZBC and BC.
well,
has
we still have those
pretty-
college radio stations
Yeah,
that
thank
do a great
God.
job. There's
Emerson.
3 free radio station, Emerson.
ERS.
ERS is definitely one of it. ERS reminds me of FNX of the older era because of the fact that they're all about playing new music and old music together, and it's a combination of.
Yeah.
I love turning on that station. I don't, unlike other stations that turn on, and it's the same. It's same playlist all the time. It's really there's no support.
All you need is love. Ringo Starr. Let's bring it back. Bring it back.
Ringo.
Gotta love that switch.
So let's talk a little bit about Sunday's show. I guess Lip Smear is playing with.
Gene Dante and Modern English.
Modern Englishman.
I've when I was in high school.
Check it out, gang.
I used
That's
to
under the
sell-
radar. That's an under the radar.
When I was in
Really?
high school,
downstairs.
I used to sell scalp tickets. Start off the story was I wanted to go see Van Halen very badly, and
At the Centrum.
yes, it was at the Centrum. I actually saw Van Halen at the Centrum 12 times.
Did you hit puberty around there? I mean, that was a long
I started doing this when I was 16 years old. So,
Okay.
So no.
thanks. So, what happened was I wanted
Gotta
to
get
see,
the
I wanted to
puberty
see Van
reference
Halen
in.
so bad. So what I did was I did something you shouldn't do.
Oh,
I reached into my dad's wallet.
took his ID?
I took his credit card.
Oh.
And it was a Saturday morning. He's home, but he's sleeping. And I was the first phone ever you can have automatic redial, which means nothing today. But that was technology of ever, because there's no automatic redial on any phone I knew at the time. But we had an automatic redial because my dad's a nuclear engineer. Always had the top notch,
You called the radio station for
I know.
free
I
tickets.
called to buy tickets, and when I hit
Yeah, remember those
when I
days?
hit the busy.
Hey, that's how I got to the
When I hit the
Aerosmith
busy
show.
thing, I just hit redial until I actually get a ring, and then I bought tickets.
You're the 100th caller. Congratulations.
So, my dad obviously was going to find out, and I wasn't thinking about that. Of course, I was 16.
This was with David Lee Roth,
yeah,
Van Halen, right?
and my father
Like,
said to me, "Did you make any money?" I said, "Yes." Okay, and he said, "All right, you can continue to use my credit card to do this if I get 5%."
Yep.
So
That's
I
a
ended up
smart
being that guy in Fast Times, Rich Amount High. Seriously, I was that dude that you came up to, and I sold like 50 Tiffany tickets.
What? You made a girl pregnant and then walked away?
No, that was you.
the last American Virgin. What?
So
You guys ever seen Looker?
so
Remember
you
the
name
movie
you
Looker?
name a band in the
That
80s.
was a
You
good
name
one.
it the
I
band in
like
the 80s. I scalped
saw
tickets
that
for it.
recently.
That's awesome, man.
Still good. It's still good.
The only bands I didn't scalp tickets were Judas Priest, Motley Crue, and Billy Idol.
How profitable was this?
Big time.
Yeah. You a big seller, huh?
Well, actually, kids were actually ordered tickets coming out. Van Halen tickets being sold on Saturday.
What town did you start this in?
I was in Natick, but it was just basically a 1-800 number. Dial it and hit redial until there was a limited tickets too. Yeah,
Then your
limit of
pager
4.
would go off.
Limit of 4. So I buy 4 tickets, get off the phone, do it again, buy another 4 tickets. Keep doing that until I can't buy tickets anymore. And sometimes I couldn't get enough tickets. Seriously, I couldn't get enough tickets. So Monday morning in school, I had to tell kids I only could get 12 today.
Oh, fascinating.
I only get 12 today. And by the way,
then the price goes up.
Van Halen tickets were 12 to
That's when the
15
price
bucks at
goes
a
up.
time. Imagine that. They were only 12 to 15 bucks at a time. If you want floor seats, you're looking at 25 bucks. But this is the 80s. Those same
totally opposite
floor
of my
seats for
80s.
Van Halen are probably $1,000 now. But I would, I put a profit on that.
The Orpheum had some good shows in the 80s.
I saw actually my favorite
my
Orpheum
friends saw it.
show.
Yeah.
My favorite Orpheum show was Roger Daltrey. Actually, I've seen thousands of shows, countless shows in my life. And I look back. If you ask me, one of my favorite shows I've ever seen.
I want to pan the camera to close up on you.
Top five. Roger Daltrey, Orpheum Theater. He only played 3 shows of that tour alone. One of the best shows I've ever seen in my life, and I've seen the Who before too. I covered one of the Who's last show at the Garden back in 2015, and I was able to meet the band then. But I got tickets for that, and I brought my girlfriend's ex-boyfriend. It was kind of weird, but
That is weird.
He wanted to see the band so bad, so why not?
I have a therapist friend for you.
That's for Bob. His name was Bob.
Okay. And his name was Bob.
I don't know where Bob is now. That was back in 1986.
Bob, we're all hoping you're doing okay.
But that was one of the many things I've done in my life when it comes to music. Is basically I was that guy. I was the guy that Bill. They have tickets for such and such, and I'll see what I can do.
This is the early roots of how you all get, how you started.
That's not how I got started.
I
but
want to
it's
hear about the
definitely-
Middle East, maybe some background.
Middle East shows?
Yeah, any particular wild occasions.
Mike, I think-
by the way, we're down to the final 3 minutes of the show. It's 6:27-ish.
All right, let me run through this then. My favorite shows at the Middle East back in the day were definitely Parliament and the Funkadelics.
Oh, yeah.
And every once in a while, George Clinton would even be there.
Well, he was the main member. Yeah, he
Yeah,
was
I
always
know.
there. Bootsy
No,
Collins.
No, there was a couple of times where he wasn't.
Bootsy
included.
Collins, though, right?
Bootsy, definitely, yeah. Bootsy's the man.
He was a bass player.
Yeah, beyond compare. those shows were amazing. I got to see Gil Scott Heron. For all of those who don't know who that is, The Revolution will not be televised. I got to talk to him for 15 minutes, but it seemed like not long enough at all. He's an amazing individual. And now I'm frozen. Who else? Who else did I see?
You must have seen
clearly
Tree.
the Pixies.
You saw the Pixies.
The Pixies. My friend Mike Gill.
Mike Gill.
Was
Great.
Was extremely mad at Frank
No, that's a
Black
funny story.
for breaking up the Pixies.
Ooh.
Mike Gill. Mike
like-
Gill went to the point where I was bouncing at the Middle East one night, and Mike Gill worked there as well, but he wasn't working this night. And
This is the great Mike Gill, movie maker,
Yes.
who's now passed on.
Yes,
Awesome dude.
He came just to tell off Frank Black at a Frank Black show for breaking up the Pixies. He was so upset about this, and so he came up to me and he's like, "Barry, I gotta go let Frank Black know what's on my mind." And I said, "Okay, follow me." Took him back to the green room, and Frank Black was there with his other band members, and that's when, out of nowhere, Mike Gill just let him have it. He told him how much of an asshole he is, and so on. I don't want to get into too much detail, but he freaked out on Frank Black for a good 5 minutes.
Passionate fan.
It got to the point where I had to grab Mike Gill and say, "You got your point across, let's go." But it was one of the most amazing things I've ever seen. And not 2 years after that, he got back together with the Pixies, and they started touring again. Another time,
See? You can have an impact, gang.
another time, Mike Gill was touring with his band, and they had opened up for Frank Black, and